We have chosen to analyse the extract from A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which was directed by Anna Lily Amirpour in 2014 and based on her short film that explores similar themes.
As an Iranian but grew up in the United States and was born in England, Anna Lily Amirpour wanted her feature to be declared and identified throughout creative collaborations. Indeed, it is certainly defined with subgenres of the film and the film techniques that she utilized. Particularly, beside joy and vampire hunger, she gave her new creation by shifting characters through other cultural forms, including her child-clocked vampire character. It was nominated for the Audience Award at the Sundance Film Festival, as well as Best Film at London Film Festival. In total, the film was nominated over 20 times and won 8 awards.
Amirpour continually switched the roles of hunter and prey between the two main characters, both subverting and conforming to audience expectations with the use of cinematic techniques and narrative development. The Korean suggests that A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night exists in a twilight zone between nations, between centuries, between language, and most importantly, between genres. The main genre that Amirpour employs including vampire, horror, western, teenager, and film noir. First of all, the short cutting is able to divide A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night as a horror and vampire movie when the girl emerges with a long fangs and attacks Said to suck his blood. Moreover, this movie is defined as a horror film due to its iconography such as characters, makeup, and costume. It is also western and film noir due to its stylized lighting effects and frame compositions, as well as western-influenced music.
In regards to narrative form and referential meaning, the sequence follows a female vampire who is stalking her prey in the empty street of a bad city, where she meets a corrupt drug dealer and pimp who is driven by desire. Concerning explicit meaning, it may be that the girl is not in danger, but rather the cinematic word is in danger. Delving further, an implicit meaning could be that this film is shot with a sense of emotional isolation and I didn't feel a moral compass. And symptomatic meaning is suggested by Andrew O'Hara that in her own way, the girl is pursuing a campaign of revenge against the theocratic oppression of women, and also against the more familiar westernized version of misogyny represented by Said.
At the very start of the sequence, we see the girl being surveyed by an onlooker, immediately tuning in to the fears that the film's title provokes, that walking home alone at night as a woman is dangerous, suggesting that around any corner there could be a sinister presence lurking, even in the small town of Bad City. The girl continues to walk to the left of the frame, but then in the next shot is seen walking to the right, immediately consolidating the audience's feeling of uneasiness and tension. These fears are fueled by both Western and Iranian society, which both traditionally portray men as superior and more powerful. Although Amirpour herself has proclaimed that she doesn't personally see the film as being feminist, she repeatedly takes advantage of the way audiences would typically view the girl, as vulnerable and powerless, only to reveal the opposite later in the film, which makes it difficult not to view it through such a lens. This is made particularly apparent in the selected sequence. Saeed looks down at the girl on the street when inviting her in like she's prey.
This scene and the whole film use chiaroscuro, meaning strong tonal contrast between light and dark, to build a stock image and dramatic atmosphere.
Particularly as a black and white film, it's not easy for the filmmaker to play with the lighting sources. However, with the brightness of the images, it's easy for the audience to pick up the source of lighting in the movie as low-key lighting.
Light spots from the image is defocused are deliberately oval-shaped, and in the scene when the girl and Saeed meet in the street, the focal distance of Saeed is short, with a large aperture that has the effect of making everything else appear blurry. Because he is the only element that is focused, the other elements are unknown, and this increases the sense of looming danger and suspense.
In Saeed's apartment, angles are used once again for opposite effect. The girl lifts her head above him when he is dancing and is on a risen floor throughout the scene. These dramatic high and low angles serve to clearly display the oscillation between who is the predator and prey.
Acting also adds the shift in threat. The curiosity and hesitation on Saeed's face indicate the defying nature of the girl. At first, the innocence of her eyes suggests she is a victim, but the audience is later convinced that she was actually watching Saeed's every move. At this time, her big round eyes indicate the hunting of predators. However, Amira doesn't make this shift in power clear to audience. Saeed's house is covered in images of lions as well as the heads of deers and a fur rug, maintaining the notion that he is a hunter and at the top of the hierarchy.
In the shots just before Saeed's finger is bitten off, angles are kept neutral and the focus continually shifts between the characters, effectively keeping the audience guessing up to the very last second of the attack, maintaining interest and mesmerizing viewers as they struggle with figuring out which character will submit to the other.
There are times where we don't see the girl as either predator or prey, but a similarly normal young adult at heart. She's portrayed as a mysterious outcast that doesn't belong during the commencement of the film. However, the audience becomes privy to her loneliness behind the superhero-like disguise.
Toward the end of the sequence, we see the girl sink into her private self after she has murdered Saeed. She's sifting through CDs, and we see past her theater disguise, which evokes image of the superhero escape. The dramatic music we hear from She Has Defeated Saeed is also reminiscent of that used in superhero films and portrays the girls as being heroic and someone who holds up justice in bad city.
The first time we see the girl in this way is in her room earlier in the sequence. The handheld camera is used and the scene slowly comes into focus, accentuating how hidden it is, along with the physical setting being in a kind of den beneath the rest of the town. The way that the bedroom is set up places all of her belongings behind an invisible line behind the pillar and slowly invades this space by moving in, inviting audiences to feel as if they're spying on her and her personal secret, emphasized even more by the change in costume, hair and makeup, which contrast the girl's public and private appearances. In this scene, she's an alienated youth at home with her vinyl and altered images of 1980s pop icons plastered on the walls. The song, Farah Dancing Girls, has an 80s echoey feel, with a monotone speaking voice. The accent is American when she's alone dancing, but Iranian words are used when it cuts to the drug dealer walking alone outside, highlighting the difference between her private and public self even further.
Cinematically, deep focus is used in the girl's flat, so we know another aspect of her, and we, audience, acts as a voyeur, trying to see a hidden side of her. Also in Saeed's house, the use of point of view with racking focus let us know her thought. At first, the camera wasn't focused on Saeed, but on decorations on his house. In this case, it may indicate that she's indifferent towards other characters.
I want to say one more about a specific part of the beginning of the extract. The image of grocery and the girl walks out of the store. With the setting, the poster is quite horrified on the wall, and the light setting of the frame makes the audience expect that the threat will come in the next scene. In this short scene, symmetrical frames are used and the main character is in the center of the frame. And also we notice that the poster on the wall is actually the poster for this film. Also in this scene,
Amirpour said she has found her own funny, smart expressions for teenage bedroom loneliness.
Apart from these ideas, the extract has other techniques used to enhance the feeling of the style. All of Amirpour's shots are carefully constructed. The frame is symmetrical and centered to the rule of thirds, and the limited color palette intensifies the contrast in the scenes. For example, the girl's ink black chador against the walls.
This 10-minute clip all used direct cutting without any special transactions like fade in, fade out, dissolve, or wipe. Despite this, there's no obstructive feelings, because different editing relations are used. When the shot changed from the girl's home to Saeed's on the street, graphic relations are used to match in the transaction. Moreover, with the man on the street, the walking rhythm of Saeed matched the soundtrack. However, later we noticed that even the music has a strong rhythm sensation, the editing didn't follow the rhythm. 800-degree rules are used in this sequence, when they met in the street and when they look at each other at Saeed's house, and also the attacking shot. Later in the house scene, the increase in cutting speed indicates the danger is coming.
Besides that, during the extract, it is easy to figure out the feature lighting that filmmaker seems like to prefer utilizing east side lighting. The effect of lighting directions make audience feel nervous and attract their attentions to the film context.
CutthroatWomen.org suggests that the film's blend of art cinema aesthetics, horror gore, and dread helped to mark Amirpour internationally as an up-and-coming art horror director.
The sequence is all about spinning the photographic record like a DJ in a movie, keeping the audience alert and disrupting their dance moves for her own pleasure.
This was an RMIT media student production.
Under the course of Introduction to Cinema Studies,
Jenny,
Jessica,
and Charlotte